Hey guys, you're back with Feynman Education, and today we are going to be back to solving our business question papers. And previously we've solved paper 1. Today we are going to solve paper 2. It's from June 2020 and it's building a business. So let's get started with it. We're just going to solve section A today, and we'll be back with more videos with section B and C. So as usual, let's start with the MCQs. Which one of the following is a non-financial method of motivating an employee? Select one answer. So non-financial method for motivating employee, it can't be bonus because it's financial. It can't be commission because that's financial as well. Job rotation seems like the right answer, but part D says remuneration, which is also financial. So job rotation is our answer because it is a non-financial method of motivating our employee. Part B, which one of the following is a type of organizational structure? So we're talking about organizational structure and not about organizations in general. So part A is freelance. It is not a type of organizational structure, it is a type of business. Hierarchical seems like the correct answer. Permanent and temporary, they're not really structures, so hierarchical is our correct answer. So that's one type of organizational structure. Moving on to part C, explain one benefit to a business of using external recruitment to employ new staff. So recruitment can be of two types. It can be internal and it can be external. External means I'm getting staff from outside who has not really worked for me before. So I'm asked to explain one benefit. So one benefit can mean that since the employees are coming from outside, they will bring in new ideas to the business. So first point, new employees mean new ideas. So they're new employees, they're bound to bring new ideas to the business, something that we haven't thought of, the internal employees haven't thought of. So new brain, new ideas. And basically we have to explain the fact that they bring new ideas to the business, why that is the case, and how that will benefit the business. So we said they will bring new ideas to the business, gets us 1 mark. And because of this, the workforce will become more productive and efficient, so that gains us the 2nd mark. So because of the new employees and new ideas, workforce will be more productive and efficient. Now we are going to talk about how the workforce being more productive and efficient will in turn benefit the business. So it's the same drill with all the 3 markers as I've explained in my previous videos. So because of this, the average total cost of producing products may fall. If cost falls, profitability will increase. So average total cost will fall and profits will increase. That gains us our 3 marks. Moving on, part D, explain one impact on a business from a lack of communication. So lack of communication is a huge problem for a business. Again, we will first identify one problem that will come with lack of communication. We can say that if there is a lack of communication, employees will not really be sure of what they have to do. So that is identifying the problem. Workers not sure about what they have to do. So how is this point a problem? That's what we're going to explain in our 2nd point. So if they're not sure what they have to do, chances are they will make more mistakes. And our 3rd point will say how making more mistakes will be a problem for our business. So making more mistakes will mean that the quality of my good or service will fall and my customer satisfaction will decrease. That's it. Same drill for 3 markers, and this gets us through our first question. Moving on to our second question. So 2 MCQs again. Part A says which two of the following are external sources of finance. So we have to have two answers which are external sources of finance and not internal. So loan capital seems to be an external source of finance because it does not come from within our business. Retained profit is wrong because it is profits retained by our own business, so it's internal. Sales revenue is same. Selling assets, all of these three are internal sources of finance because they're coming from within the business. So that leaves us with loan capital and share capital because they're coming not from our business, so they are external. Part B, which two of the following are methods of external growth for business? So improved promotion is internal, innovation is internal, merger is external because I'm merging with another company. Research and development is internal again, and mergers and takeover, I'm taking over another company, gaining its control. So these are external sources of control, and all of these are internal. Okay. Part C. Table 1 contains financial information about the performance of a business. So we have our sales revenue, cost of sales, and operating expenses. Using the information in table 1, calculate the gross profit made by the business. So the formula for gross profit, GP for now, is sales minus cost of goods sold, which is my cost of sales. That is my formula for gross profit. So it's easy. We have our sales revenue 625,000, and my cost of sales is also directly given, which is 145,000. That leaves me with 480,000. Note that my other operating expenses for this answer is not needed because I will need it for my net profit calculation, but here I'm asked to calculate my gross profit. So oftentimes the question might give you extra information which you will not need just to confuse you, but that's a part of you giving an exam. So don't get confused that, oh, I'm not using my expenses, what am I going to do with it? Because there are often times when you will not need to use all of the information given in questions like these especially. So don't get confused and don't make mistakes. Okay. Explain one benefit to a business of withdrawing a product when it enters the decline phase of its product life cycle. Okay, so my product is already in its declining phase and I am withdrawing it from my market. So what is one benefit? Firstly, identify the benefit. If I'm withdrawing a product that's already dying, managers can now concentrate more on products that are at its growth stage of product life cycle. So first point, concentrate more on growing products. And how is that beneficial? As a result, these products are more likely to have a longer maturity phase. So if my managers are concentrating more on a product that's already doing well, and if they're devising strategies to make the products do even better, that product will have a longer maturity period. So products will have a longer maturity period. And how will products having a longer maturity period benefit my business? In that case, my products will work on for a longer period of time and my market share will increase. That gains my 3 marks. So first, identify a benefit, how the benefit is a benefit for the business, and how this will in turn affect the business in a positive way. Okay, so part E, explain one benefit to a business from improving the aesthetic element of a product's design mix. So how will I gain as a business if I make my product more aesthetically pleasing, basically? So aesthetics is one part of my design mix. So better aesthetics will mean that the product will appear more attractive to its customers and gain a competitive advantage. So product will look more attractive, gain more customers. How is this a benefit? If my product looks more attractive than my rivals, I have a competitive advantage and I can use it as my unique selling point. And if I have a unique selling point, there is the easiest advantage that comes to my mind, which is I will be able to charge a premium price. Premium price means more revenue, more profits. So that gains us our 3 marks. Let's move on to question 3. So for question 3, which one of the following is a stage in the sales process? Product knowledge, product quality, production, productivity. So sales process means you're selling a product, and which one of it is a part of the sales process. So product quality is a part of the product, not my sales process. Same with production and productivity. So having proper product knowledge is a part of my sales process, for salesmen especially. Okay, part B. In 2008, a business sold 3 products XYZ. Figure 1 shows the sales revenue generated for each of these products. Okay, so this is for product X, this is for product Y, this is for Z. Using the information in figure 1, calculate to 2 decimal places the percentage of total sales revenue made by product X in 2008. So we are asked to calculate how much product X made in terms of sales revenue as a percentage of the total sales of the business. So it will be, so how much product X made, the numerator will be 700,000, and we are asked to calculate it as a percentage of the total sales revenue of the business. So the total sales revenue of the business is 700,000 plus 150,000 plus 350,000, because this is my total sales, times 100 to make it into percent, and after you calculate, the answer comes 58.33. Moving on to part C. Explain one drawback to a business from differentiating its product. So far we basically learned how differentiation is so good, how differentiation gives you a competitive advantage, allows you to charge a premium price. But now this question is slightly different. It's asking us how differentiating is a disadvantage for me as a business. So firstly, let's as usual identify my disadvantage in one line. So differentiating is a process which we do in order to differentiate our products from our rivals, but doing so is expensive, so it adds to our costs. So one disadvantage is that it increases variable cost. An increase in variable cost will mean that my profits are going to decrease. So profits will decrease because an increase in cost means an increase in expense, and an increase in expense means a decrease in my profit. And moreover, the differentiation, we aren't really sure if the differentiation is going to work. So that's what we're gonna write. that differentiation may not even add much value to my product, and it might not generate the same amount of revenue that I was expecting, or it might not generate the same amount of cash flow that I have put behind it. So it may not add enough value. All right, let's move on to part D. Explain one impact on a business from increased globalization. So globalization basically means you're trading with the rest of the world and you're more open in the market. So one advantage is that since you're more open, you have a larger market. So my market size increases, my opportunity to sell in more market increase. All right, if that happens, the business now has the ability to sell in global markets and have a global brand awareness because of globalization. So if I have a global brand awareness, that means that there are more people who are buying my products. So that means higher sales revenue and therefore higher profits. That gains us our 3 marks. All right. Now for the last part, part E, discuss the impact on a business of becoming a PLC, so a public limited company. A public limited company, being a public limited company has its advantages and disadvantages. So for this, since it's just a 6-marker question, we can write how becoming a PLC will be both an advantage and a disadvantage. Since it's not mentioned, write benefits or costs. It's just impact, we can write either. So let's start with one advantage. So being a public limited company means that the business is now open to the entire public. It can now issue new shares to a large number of potential shareholders and also gain more capital. So and this will allow the business to gain more capital. Okay, the issuing of new shares is an advantage in this point because I'm gaining more capital, but it's a disadvantage for the existing shareholders because it will dilute their power and their percentage of ownership as well. So this is a disadvantage. So issuance of new shares will mean that the existing shareholders' power and ownership will be diluted. All right. So these are one advantage and one disadvantage, and then we can talk about how the ability to sell their shares easily also means shareholders may purchase large amount of shares and they may be able to raise large amounts of fund for growth. So since we said over here more capital, we can link as an explanation to that point that more capital will mean more access to funding for growth. And the issuance of new shares, another explanation that we can write for this, just to build up on it, might mean that since the existing shareholders are losing their ownership, the company might now become a part of a larger entity. So it might not remain in its original size, it will be a part of a larger entity, and in the future might be subject to merger or a takeover. So company becomes a part of a larger entity. So these are just explanations to the point, and all of these will gain you 6 marks. And that is basically it. This is section A. We've finished section A, and if you write it this way, you're gonna get 35 marks and be good to go. For the next video, we're gonna do section B and then section C. So until then, practice and just remember how to format your answers as I've said here before, and you'll be great to go. We'll see you next time.